Hi, so it's Friday the 13th and I thought of doing a few movies watching a few movies for 30 days of October, 31 days of October, I can't remember, or 13 days of October, if you do the half marathon of it. And I thought what better than go watch a Sound of Freedom. And what better than this movie because of, well, previous trauma, personal trauma as a child. Even though now, like, it's good, you know, I can talk about it, but I remember the last time I watched a movie that was loosely related or closely related, depending on my recollection of it, to my experience, as in to being stalked and harassed. I wasn't too good after that, so I can't imagine what it will be after watching a movie about child being raped and child trafficking, incest and stuff. But it's not proper an horror movie, but for me it might be an horror movie. So yeah, I can't wait to watch this very infamous movie to see if it's actually good, but knowing loosely the studio who makes it, yeah, I think it's gonna be good. They did The Chosen before, if you know Angel Studio, and it's quite a big one. It was very well made, so I'm pretty sure this one is going to be very well made, especially that a lot of people liked it. Hopefully I'm gonna like it. And now, because it's a dinner and a review, I'm gonna show you my dinner.
As you can, or do both. Join us and millions of others as we ring Sound of Freedom and hope throughout the world. And just remember this, God's children are not for sale. Thank you.
So back at home now, I didn't have time to properly film to show you my dinner, but I will have pictures. So I had the classic burger of the Pink Buddha. It's hamburgueseria in Gracia in Barcelona, if you're ever there. It was good. The burger was nice and was quite fresh, probably because I was the only client at the time when there was one other person, but she was already eating, and so they were pretty quick in doing it, so that was good timing. And the fries, the sauce, you can see the cheese was Parmesan, there was oregano, and it says on the menu that it was truffle mayonnaise, but more in taste it didn't taste like mayonnaise at all. So I think it was more like a cream, like liquid cream with truffle and also a bit of pepper. It was very good. It was too much, actually. It was a lot, like the portion was massive. But it was good. Almost as good as Sound of Freedom. There was something, and yeah, that was not so much an horror movie for me, but yeah, because of my history, it didn't. I mean, because to stay humble, not to be humble, but I think I'm a pretty good human being with normal morals and common sense and sense of good and goodness. But still, as we all know, there are some bad people in the world. And yeah, and because of my history, I couldn't help but share. I was about to say share a tear, but it was a lot of tears. At the beginning, towards the middle, and at the end, in the credits, where I cried like the little girl who was raped at 5-ish. So yeah, that was a lot. And I was like, huh, I came from very far. So I was kind of impressed actually by how good the movie is, and also at the end, remembering all that journey of being good mentally. So I was actually quite proud of myself, to be honest. That's a review of how proud of myself I am, this video. But yeah, more seriously, the movie was actually very good. To be honest, I wasn't expecting much because the movie got a lot of controversy. That's not controversy, what is it? Conspiracy theory that it was trying to be cancelled, and like in many theaters there were many technical issues, sound was not right, image and all sorts of stuff. People thinking, oh, that's weird, just because it's a controversial. Why is it a controversial movie, by the way? Like, I mean, children. But yeah, it was a good controversy thing that was also a good marketing thing, to be honest, even if it's sadly probably true, because we know what's not been done to serve people as a general sense, as young adults, but even more so children. So, oh my god, the children in that movie. All the children who act in this movie, but the two main ones, and obviously the man and girl, I mean, she deserves an Oscar. Like, how good was she? It's incredible. And the main actor, I can't remember his name right now. I can see I can see the letters, but I can't say it properly. So I'm gonna put it here somewhere on the screen. But yeah, she was, jeez, so good. And if that's really her singing was also very good. And that little boy, the actor, everything was nice. There was a few things, transitions, with like little details that didn't particularly move me. But yeah, I don't have a thing to say about that movie that I didn't like. Maybe because I was so involved emotionally. But that was also the strength of this movie. That is the strength of this movie. That can make you be involved emotionally a lot. And yeah, that's the music also. That's one of the things that I like a lot in movies. That's all very important. It's the sound, not of freedom, but the sound, the music, and the silence, because the silence can say a lot. And also something that was, I think, very clever to play with people watching the movie imagination is that when, for example, at the beginning of the movie, when there's like a fixed frame on the door behind which the father did see his two children for the last time. And another one was when the little girl was in a room with a drunk old guy who was about to do what, you know, and when he draws the blinds, like basically close the curtains, when he closes the curtains, and he stays there for a few seconds, making you think, oh my god, what is he gonna do to her? And yeah, that's very clever move. Yeah, and sometimes and actually a lot of times, when you don't show stuff on screen, people and the spectators or the reader, if you read a book, it's actually better for the action and for the involvement of the spectator, or the viewer, or the reader, to maintain the attention and drive to stay to the end. And if you do decide to go watch Sound of Freedom, do stay until the end. There's a little message from the whole team of Sound of Freedom, behind Sound of Freedom. But that's the message told by the main actor, the lead. And yeah, that was something. And that makes you think, like, how and why are we still there for many people, category of people, but mostly children. Like it says in one of the sentences, that's just like a message from the studio and the team behind the movie at the end. It's like human trafficking is like $1 billion industry, and that's basically and that's not basically, that is actually slavery. And I like how we say slavery was abolished, but it's just was made illegal. Slavery, we all know that. I mean, most of people know that, and by most of people know that, I mean people who choose to not be to have blinds on their eyes. Slavery still exists, and that's what the message at the end of the movie says. I'm gonna hopefully find something so I could put it inside of my face. But yeah, it's basically that. It was just made illegal. It says the message at the end. And sadly, for us human beings, the people who suffer the most of this human trafficking and sex trafficking are children. So I'm not myself, I'm not a believer in God, but the message that one of the sentences they say, and not a mantra, but one of the things they say in the movie is nonetheless true. It's actually quite very true, even if you don't believe in God. But the main message of this movie is that the godchildren are not on sale. They're not to be sold. It also shows that actually for some governments they hide behind, oh, but you know, there's a law, you can't act this way because blah blah blah. But also they refuse to see, and one of the characters actually that kind of helps the main character try to free as many children from this sex trafficking problem is Hell. Actually, I'm gonna apply the term. You see like his hesitation, and then he comes and joins the fight basically, but it's kind of brief. I mean, it appeared brief to me, but it shows that people working in government, regardless of the country, so it was obviously based in the US because it's actually a true story. I mean, I'm not sure if the story of the true children is a true story. It might be romanticized, but the main character, Tim, is actually, he did work actually for Homeland Security. Someone who actually existed, and the raid on the island is actually happened. So yeah, it happens everywhere. So I'm French, as you might have noticed with my little accent and poor choice of English words. And for example, there's something that happens in France, and happens of course in many sadly countries, is that it's not, I mean, can we say it's not children's trafficking? For the purpose of my point and my argument, we're gonna say no, but it's nonetheless pedophilia. So many children every year, every day, get raped, are victim of sexual abuse, victim of incest, and some of them, many of them, because the parents in that case does keep their rights as parents in many cases, even in some cases where the parent, the perpetrator who did those awful acts, was proven guilty, that there is proof of certain action. Like for example, it actually reminds me of a story I came across on Instagram of a French woman who was a victim herself of rape and abuse from her father. The father it was proven that he was also guilty of raping, I think it was a sister, and also her brother, a young brother, who was I think 7 or 8 maybe at the time. So basically the father was proven guilty. There's a lot of proof. He's been in front of the justice. But yet, even though it's known that the motherfucker is a child molester, that is a molester of his own children, what did my government do? Absolutely nothing. Even worse. What did they do? They said, oh, you know what? The young boy is still young. The father still has a right to see his son. The son should see his father, even though, you know, he's raped these 2 girls. And it was, I think, if I recall properly, it was actually a sentence for the rape of the youngest. And you know what happened to the son? He killed himself. Because my fucking government was not able to protect its own children. It chose to protect the abuser. It chose to protect the rapist. And that's what's happening in France and many countries, because adults are not capable of protecting their own children. And that makes me so angry. Not as a victim myself, but just like the country of human rights. I mean, what a fucking joke. Like in this young boy who sadly took his own life because he couldn't support all the bad stuff his father was doing to him physically and mentally, is sadly not the only one. And it happens in the United States, in Canada, United Kingdom, and everywhere in the world. And we are in 2023, almost in 2024, 21st century. So if you want to join the fight in protecting our children, I'm gonna try to find some helpful link, and I'll put that in the description. If yourself was sadly a victim, or sadly still is, or a victim of abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, even any kind of abuse, I'll try to put some links that can be helpful in the description. I'll put also, of course, the link towards the Angel Studio who produced this movie in the description, so you can have a look also to their other stuff. Another thing that is important for that movie, and for any movie or anything you watch, pretty much anything you watch, in my opinion, is to not pause. And in this movie, Sound of Freedom, the rhythm of the action, the rhythm of the storytelling is as important as the storyteller itself, and is actually one of the storyteller. So yeah, if do share, because without the conspiracy and all the people who've been saying online this movie is great, and why is there so many technical difficulties, why are there so many places like France it's not possible to see it, I would never have heard of it, probably, and because of that, probably would not have been in the cinema tonight to watch it. So do share, not, like I said, not only about this movie, but about the issue as a whole. And yeah, do go and see it. And if you are able to, watch it again once it's online on Angel Studio streaming platform. And if you did watch it, do tell me in the comments what you thought of it. And hopefully, yeah, we'll get rid of that stuff. And if one more word of hope, if you were yourself a victim of abuse, regardless of you being a child, an adult, whatever, any abuse is wrong, do you know that there is hope and light at the end of the tunnel? There's a thing that I like a lot, is that the light will always follow darkness. So I will leave you on that, and yeah, love to you all, and have a good day and a good life. Bye.